Agent, we're finalizing our exit report for the diplomatic service. 34 pages of seating charts, ambassador profiles, and appendices. We'll transmit it to our superiors, and then we're yours full-time.
Any second thoughts about leaving diplomacy for intelligence?
We'll miss it, and we're sorry to hand over the unfinished work, but they'll do fine without me. You know, we used to advise first contact missions to new star systems. We met some unusual people, but we haven't had many new experiences since joining the Hyllus. Time to broaden our horizons.
After what happened, are you still part of the Hyllus hive mind?
The nest has no concept of betrayal, and no concept of forgiveness. If they considered us a threat, they'd have eaten us. So we remain the Dawn Herald, and one day, we will make amends.
What can I do for you, Vector?
Agent, excuse us a moment. We hear the song. The nest awakens. Light fills the hive, and we are one. Apologies. It's the hour of revitalization, and as Dawn Herald, we still participate, in spirit, if not in person.
You talk about being Dawn Herald, but I don't know what that is.
Traditionally, the Dawn Herald is a warrior and emissary for the nest, one who confronts the unknown. As Herald, we are more than a typical joiner, and we retain a sense of individuality. It's also why we're useful to you.
You aren't entirely part of the hive mind, but you don't want to leave it, do you?
The joining changed us, and we are content. In any case, we still honor the Hyllus gift, but surely everyone carries over rituals and habits from their lives before intelligence.
Having a history makes a person vulnerable. Habits should be forgotten. Connections must be severed.
As you say, Agent. We'll keep it in mind. Last night, we ate our first ration bar since leaving the nest. We savored the flavor for 2 hours. We could taste every nutrient, every chemical compound and trace of foil. Do you know what joining the Hyllus does to a person's senses?
Should I be sending you on more nighttime missions?
We can't see into every spectrum, or smell poison under our nose, but our eyesight has improved. That does bring up something we want to discuss. How do you see our role as operative on your team?
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Keeper described us as a covert assault agent. Our role as Dawn Herald gives us that capacity. We just don't know if that's the only reason we're here, or if it should be.
If there's information you have or aid you can provide, tell me. I'm still learning your talents.
So are we, in a sense. But, Agent, our whole life, we've been a diplomat. Whatever else we become, perhaps we shouldn't abandon that so readily. Agent, we hope you don't mind, but we were wondering something. Do you have a family? Siblings, a wife, people to go home to after a mission?
Not much room for that in our line of work.
We suppose not. We're just trying to understand how anyone in this job keeps a tether to the real world. None of us can exist in isolation forever.
Ordinary life is easy to forget. That's why we have to remind one another.
Fair enough. Then we all share that responsibility. Thank you, Agent.
You wanted to talk?
Yes. The suns are warmer here. Nothing that smells so green when the gamma bursts come.
Vector, are you all right?
We must go. Auras mingle. Apologies, Agent. Emissaries from our nest. They stowed away aboard the ship and have accompanied us since we left Alderaan. They're becoming quite sociable.
I don't see a swarm around you. Can they turn invisible?
No, but they can grow very large or very small. These live within our flesh. The Hyllus of Alderaan know little of the galaxy, only what they absorb through joiners. Our journey teaches them a great deal, but there is something that intrigues us, intrigues the nest. The fate of our lost kin.
What lost kin?
Alderaan has only a handful of nests, sleeping beneath the castle lands and awakening every few centuries. The other Killiks migrated off-world millennia ago. No one knows what became of them, or whether they survived. But the migration is a primal memory. We miss them.
If the Citadel has any record of Killik encounters, we can find out.
We appreciate that, Agent. It may help. We don't know if it's truly important to find them, but as Dawn Herald, we'll be watching. We've been dreaming lately. Great Spitcrete vessels weep dew above the castle lands. Their engines scorch the air. Dartship swarms shade the sky, humming a song of farewell. We remember the Great Migration, when the lost nests departed Alderaan.
What was the point of the migration? Why did so many Killiks leave?
That we don't remember. Resources, perhaps? But there's something else. In our dream, there is a mosaic that mirrors the stars and shows us the lost one's destination. We request leave for a pilgrimage, Agent, to follow the first steps of the migrant Killiks.
You think the lost nests are still out there?
It's been millennia since the migration, and we doubt we'll see more than dust or petrified shells. Still, the journey honors our kin. We're already packed.
We've spent a lot of time and money on you. You'll need a bodyguard to keep you out of trouble.
We are Dawn Herald. We have some ability to defend ourselves.
So you made it back from your pilgrimage.
Our journey is over. We saw strange worlds and markers set in stone and frozen lakes of steaming colors, but no Killiks. The colony found planets that suited them, but none that could support them. They divided into 1,000 nests, each going its own way, to 100 different stars.
I know this isn't the end you were hoping for.
We forged a connection to the lost colony. Even if we didn't find it, this means a great deal. In any event, we're sorry. What? There is a scent here.
You're not giving up already. We apologize for surprising you, but it took time for us to become aware of your presence. More to find you. But we welcome you nonetheless. We are Dizana, of the Lesai Nest.
Maybe you should handle this.
Dizana of Lese. We are Vector Hyllus, Dawn Herald of Oroboro.
Oroboro? We barely recognize the scent. We thought we'd lost the nests of Alderaan until you followed. Our fleet ship pursued you here. The colony still exists, spun across the stars. Our nests still kin. 1 trillion and more Killiks will dance and sing tonight.
Your shit followed Vector on his way back from the pilgrimage.
Even after he was gone, he left an impression we could follow. Our emissaries are not far from your own. Let them touch and bring knowledge.
Yes, the Lese shall rejoice. She offers dancing and Membrosia the chance to walk the tunnels of the Synapse Comb.
The Dawn Herald must come with us. As his partner, you may accompany and share in our joy.
I'd love to see a Killik celebration lead the way.
Don't worry. We'll be out before the pheromones bond to your system.
The Membrosia runs in golden rivers.
You're doing well. Accompany the joiners, if you wish. Morning comes soon. We're impressed. You held up well. More to the point, you brought together the fragments of an ancient people. We can't fully express our gratitude. We hear the singing of 1,000 nests, and are at peace.
I'm glad you're in high spirits. Call it a day, then?
Agreed, Agent. Agent, we've had time to think since reuniting the Killik colony. Not that our work hasn't kept us busy, but we didn't actually thank you for allowing our pilgrimage. You should come with us next time.
We'll pack some rations and go sightseeing on strange planets. Just say when.
We're glad to have friends with a sense of adventure. In any case, we should get back to work. We promised Kalia we'd keep the hatchlings away from her quarters, which means some training is in order.
Cleo hasn't said much about you. Everything going all right?
After some early missteps, we're learning to tolerate one another. We no longer invite her to the Jaric games. She no longer spits in our tea. Give us a few months. We've negotiated with worse.
How are things, Vector?
Agent, when we communed with the other nests, we saw a force for change in the galaxy. There are Killiks as large as starships and as small as mites, joiners from 100 species on 1,000 worlds. We mean to report on the Killik colony to the diplomatic service.
The colony's been in hiding for a long time. The Killiks may not appreciate it.
We've shared thoughts with Daizana of the Lacey nest, and we've assessed the limits of their cooperation. If the service can make entreaties to the colony, if we make them an ally, we'll have a foothold in the unknown regions. We'd have access to Killik craftsmanship, joiner information. Even without their military support, they would be invaluable.
What would an Imperial Killik alliance take?
We've outlined a proposal. The Killiks want peace and resources, and the Empire can offer both. And if the Empire doesn't make allies of the Killiks, someone else may get to them first.
Convincing the service, let alone the Sith, to support this won't be easy.
We're well aware of that, Agent. But there was a time when this was our life. We believe in it, and we'll find a way. Agent, we heard back from the diplomatic service about our proposed alliance with the Killik colony. Our report was soundly ignored. It seems we have less credibility than we thought.
You worked for them for years, and this is what you get.
We're twice compromised. No longer human, and no longer a diplomat. A colleague named Fulner Eth sent the update on our report along with a message. He wants us to call him, accompanied by our handler. We believe he means you.
You worked with him in the diplomatic service?
Not directly. Eth spent his time with ex-Republic worlds, while our speciality was first contact. We met several times at conferences and the like, but we wouldn't say we knew him. This should prove interesting.
Master Hyllus, I'm so glad you got my message. How are you? How's Anya?
Anora. We haven't seen her in some time, but we hear she's well. And your son?
I'm stationed on Balmorra, still hoping to join the Shadow Fist. And you must be Cypher 9. It's my privilege to meet you. Rest assured, I went through channels to arrange this. Imperial Intelligence has agreed to loan me Vector so long as you're amenable.
Vector contacted you about a Killik alliance. Why would you need him?
My superiors don't see the wisdom in Vector's advice. I do, yet I lack the authority to force the issue.
Someone is blocking you?
Tarab, Sabini, the usual crew. If I'm to win them over, I need influence. Vector, with your ties from the service and the colony's knowledge, I could amass a string of victories. And the more I succeed through your consultations, the better chance your Killik Imperial Alliance comes to pass.
What's your take on all this?
He wants us to play politics, but that is how things are accomplished.
Perceptive man. I'll be in touch with specifics.
We appreciate your help, Agent. We'll make it worthwhile, to you, to the Empire, and to the colony. Agent, you recall we spoke to the diplomatic service about building an alliance between Empire and Killiks? Falna Eth, the man who offered his backing in return for our assistance, has asked us for his first favor.
What's our diplomat friend after?
Falna wants our notes on various families and unaligned worlds in the Questal sector. He means to bring that sector into the Empire. We worked in Questal a long while, and we knew its people well. It's odd to see someone else take the reins.
You don't talk about your old life.
We don't often have a reason to think about it. We do miss negotiating, reaching out to understand people, synthesizing their needs. Dizana of the Lesai Nest says that desire makes us a better joiner. It's only small comfort.
You haven't forgotten your training. Even as Dawn Herald, you're an ambassador.
Perhaps. But seeing men like Falna again, we think it's best if he handles negotiations. Apologies, Agent. This is something we need to think on more deeply. But we are glad you stand by us.
You wanted something, Vector?
We do not neglect our duties. We are Dawn Herald. We do this for the Nest. Agent, we've had another request from Falna Eth, our ally inside the diplomatic service. We need to take a short leave.
I heard you talking to the emissaries of the Nest. Is everything all right?
Everything's fine. The distance from our kin is unusual and causes rifts. Falna's stock is rising, but he needs further acclaim before he can push for a Killik Imperial alliance. He's asked us to visit a former Republic governor named Yoganath Anoth and win his cooperation by turning him into a joiner.
So you're supposed to strip a man of his individuality and make him part of the Nest.
We'd hoped Falna wanted us for our diplomatic skills, not for this. The joining should be a gift, but we will find a way.
Whatever you decide, I'll back you. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're back. Did you find your man?
We spoke to the Republic Governor. If you'll join us, we'll report the details to Falna Eth.
My friends, it's been too long.
Falna, we assume you've heard from Thenoth.
He contacted me from an Imperial transport. Apparently we promised to work with him. Not what I requested, but the service can make do.
There was no need to make him a joiner when he was amenable to discussion.
Your reputation in the diplomatic service is secure. Now, about our request.
You kept your promise. Thenoth's assistance resulted in my promotion. I will keep my promise to you. Some important people are waiting, Vector. They're very interested in a potential Killik alliance.
You arranged this?
As soon as I knew we could work together. Check the data I'm streaming to your main console.
Thank you, Falna. Excuse us a moment, Agent.
It's like talking to a bug wearing a man's skin. I don't know how you stand it.
I don't understand. You helped him.
We're practical people, and we take the tools we're given. But those creatures are anathema to everything the Empire stands for. There's no place for great men in a hive mind. Only animal instinct. I'll be relieved when you people finish this scheme and get rid of the colony for good.
Agent, they listened. They don't understand yet, but they listened. The diplomatic service has requested my aid and wants to initiate relations with the colony.
Listen, Falna Eth is keeping his deal, but he's repulsed by Killiks. We can't trust him.
He admits it? We always did get an odd sense from him. It's out of his hands now, though. We should watch him, but we'll be focused on the future. Agent, we received a small gift from the diplomatic service in appreciation of our work with the Killiks. A package of wine, meat, and breadfruit, all imported from the colony worlds. Not inexpensive, and a bit extravagant during wartime.
Aren't extravagant gifts part of the diplomatic process?
Maybe, but we'd rather they treated us as one of their own, not as a foreigner to be won over. In the meantime, you're welcome to help yourself. We may as well enjoy the taste of progress.
What do you have for me?
Encouraging news. Watch.
Dawn Herald, forgive the message, but our emissaries were out of reach and we couldn't wait to link with you. Imperial scout ships entered colony space and made contact yesterday. We traded in Membrosia, silk, and star maps. We could smell the men's fright, but they left in peace. Perhaps you were right after all.
A long way from a signed treaty, but it's a start.
You and that joiner seem to get along.
Dazana is a nestmate, and we find her insight illuminating. We're in touch with the diplomatic service as well. There's still resistance, but we're progressing. Kylix and Imperials may share space in our lifetime.
What's going on?
Agent, in our work with the diplomatic service, we find ourselves talking to people we once knew. We've been contemplating this.
Hello, Vector. It's Anora. I don't know if you remember me, but Bryson said he thought you would, and I wanted to talk to you. I know things didn't end well, but I never forgot. You need to get out of there. Come back to Drummond Cast and we'll get you help. We can undo what the Kylix did. There are still people who care about you.
We've watched it 17 times and meditated to the static.
You two used to be a couple?
We were nearly engaged to Anora very long ago. We never considered that there are people who want us restored to what we were. But watching this, feeling nothing, we know we're no longer who we were when we loved her.
If you could be restored, would you want it?
No. We had to know if our reaction was unnatural, but we don't think it is. We are content. It is done, Agent. We can scent the pulse of your heart. We can taste particles of solar radiation bead like dew on our lips. We have undergone the chrysalis of tranquility, and we are reborn.
You've never mentioned this chrysalis of tranquility?
The chrysalis is a ritual of the Dawn Herald. It makes us stronger, better able to face the enemies of the nest, and enhances our link to the universe. You've brought us this far, and we will fight alongside you. We have news, Agent. We've been conferring lately with the ambassadors, moffs, speakers for the Sith, all with their own agendas and concerns, none with any love for the Kylix. But we swayed a few, and found ways around others. Now the diplomatic service has agreed to seek a treaty.
You convinced these people all on your own?
We've been a diplomat longer than we've been Dawn Herald. Some of the nests are still reluctant, Horro and Manam in particular, but all parties involved have agreed to a summit. We'll preside over the negotiations ourselves.
Any idea what sort of treaty we could end up with?
We expect a military alliance is off the table, but a non-aggression pact is possible, as are agreements on trade and territory. Imagine. Colony and Imperial representatives in one room. It shall be interesting. Agent, we've been speaking to the nests in preparation for the Kylix Imperial Summit. They're so much in tune with their biology. The Colossalok are warriors as large as houses, and they're convinced the Empire should be crushed. But the Saras are weavers and shapers, and they're eager to trade.
You're all one species, aren't you? How can that much biological diversity be possible?
From the beginning, there was the joining, and that links us, even as our bodies evolve over millennia. Of course, that's just what our memories tell us. The colony has never specialized in scientific research. We should return to our preparations. We'll talk later. We're set, Agent. Preparations for the Kylix Imperial Summit are underway, and the first ambassadors are arriving on site. We're meeting on Alderaan, in the House of Thule. We couldn't think of a more appropriate place.
Who'll be attending? What's the agenda?
Diana of the Tatooine nest will be there, along with delegations from 11 more hives. Fulner Eth will be among our people from the diplomatic service. More than any other Imperial, you've seen the nests and how they function. Your word could carry weight. Before we leave, we'd appreciate your honest assessment. One final report that we can present to the Imperial Summit attendees.
I'm sorry, Vector, but you'll have to win this one on your own.
Very well. We enjoy a challenge, and we'll see you when we return. Agent, the summit is over. It was not without incident. Diana of the Lesai Nest is dead.
I'm sorry to hear it. I know you felt a connection to Diana.
Yes, we did. Fulner Eth, our contact in the diplomatic service, attempted to sabotage the proceedings. Diana was caught in an explosion, saving an ambassador. And when we traced it to Fulner, he had a speech prepared.
Damn you! Listen to them. Do you want to ally the Empire with these creatures? Everything they do defies what we stand for. The Killiks are an abomination. Our empire is based on the notion that a great individual rises to the top, and the lesser masses follow. The Killik hive mind devours greatness, absorbs every possibility into a mire of primal instinct.
We found his words troubling, and his actions more so.
I expect that didn't help the talks.
No, but we reconvened after Fulner was gone. The colony allows billions of Killiks and joiners to serve something greater, the Nest consciousness. Just as Imperials serve the Sith and the Emperor. That is what we told the others. That is how we signed the treaty between the Empire and the Killiks.
I wish it hadn't gone the way it did.
We couldn't have known Fulner would go so far. You and Diana, even Fulner. You all brought us to this point. Our future is hopeful.
Next thing you know, there'll be Killiks selling Membrosia in Cast City.
Let us dream, Agent. We end a verse in the Song of the Universe. Soon, we will hear another.
Vector, what's going on?
It's strange. Since the summit, our mind keeps drifting back to diplomacy, but we have nowhere to apply our skills. Still, we should be grateful Killik-Imperial relations are going well. And it's time we rededicated ourselves to your work.
You planning to learn sniper techniques?
Nothing so extreme. But we can discipline ourselves and study our opponents. We've been privileged over these past months. Until opportunity comes again, on to the less glamorous job we signed up for.
Yes, Vector?
Agent, we'll never be a great spy or covert assault operative. But you've helped us to be a diplomat and a Dawn Herald. You've been a brother to us. And we're thankful for your guidance.
Any reason you mention this now?
We received a message from the Killiks. The colony embraces the Imperial Alliance, and offered us the chance to become Dawn Herald to all nests. We refused, as our priorities are clear. We'll work with you and defend your legacy until the end.